Good evening, folks. If you are watching after the fact, then please do feel free to skip ahead to qualifying as we get the rest of the lobby into the session and all of the stream stuff sorted out on my end. We are hitting the streets of Monaco tonight for round number 7. Do not go anywhere.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Check in. We need Socks and Mr. J. No, Socks is in. There's Mr. J-Man and one other. Who's missing? Maniac Mango.
Hello Nisha, hello, welcome. It's Tier 2 day, stream day, Monaco day, of all days. I think this would be, yeah, the 4th race at Monaco in like a week's time, if you count the real F1 race.
I'm just gonna dip maybe a couple of minutes into qualifying just to check if my telemetry is working.
No problem. Right, the countdown has begun, and well, it's just finished. And good evening everyone, and welcome back to APPF1 Tier 2 for tonight's dose of racing action. I'm Sumo, your commentator this evening, and I am joined as always by my currently absent co-commentator Ghost, who will be back in a moment, so we'll ask him how he's getting on in a few moments time. But it's round number 7, and we head to the toughest circuit on the Formula 1 calendar, and it is the second oldest circuit on the calendar that just comes after Silverstone. One jewel in the Triple Crown, the Circuit de Monaco is our venue for this evening. 19 corners and 3.337 kilometres see us on a tour of the streets of Monte Carlo. The circuit requires absolute focus as the rules are never far. Drivers will be on the limit as from lights out as they take to Saint-Devote and up Beau Rivage. Nassenet and Casino see us into Mirabeau for Sector 2, followed by Portier. Then it's through the tunnel to the Nouveau Chicane, where heavy braking and brave moves can be seen from the drivers. A flick through to back, and then the high-speed swimming pool section start the end of the lap, rounded by Rascasse and 2 final corners. This circuit is legendary, and qualifying is going to be more vital than ever. Right. Let's go qualifying, then we'll ask Ghost his thoughts on it. But before we do that, let's take a look at the standings. Let's get those up for you now. And we can run through where our drivers are. And it is an absolutely close championship this season, folks. Well, it's a good one. I'm all flabbergasted. Normally I've got a bit more time than this. Where's me standings list? There it is. Let's get all my settings up. Let's get some cars out on the track as well. We've got a Red Bull out there. That looks like Lawrence, one of our championship contenders. And let's speak about the championship then. Darth Hillis is on 113 points for Ferrari. He's leading the way in the Drivers' Championship. And Lawrence is on 104 points. So he's not far behind. Only 9 points behind the Mexican driver. Then LB sits 3 points behind his teammate Lawrence in P3. And Robsu, well, he finally joins the top 4 fight, although he's got a ways to go to get in amongst the top 3. Tier is on 72 points, hounding down the Finnish driver, with Bergen on 66. He's had a few poor showings recently and has dropped down a couple of places. Maniac Mango 63, JBS Steve 61 points to 2 Aston Martins on 44 and 38. Then we got Krauser on 36 points, 23 points for Little Manny Man, Tito Man on 15 points. And we've got Judith, Palang, Womax, Matthias, Sox, Jackster, and Pommy Alex. Many of those reserve drivers, of course, but that's your standings in the Drivers' Championship. And well, it's very, very close between Red Bull and Ferrari. Just 3 points separate the, well, is it Austrian? Yes, it is Austrian outfit, and the Italian outfit, as Red Bull lead the way on 205. Then 202 is the Scuderia. Then Williams are on 97 points, so they're leading the way for best of the rest, but they're fighting in this battle with McLaren on 86, Aston Martin on 82, who are tied with Mercedes. Then there's 77 points for AlphaTauri, Alpine on 28 points, 23 points for Haas and Alfa Romeo. And I'm just going to check, do we have a Ghost back? We currently do not, so we'll wait for Ghost to return, but we'll get on with some qualifying then. And Lawrence is making his first tour of the circuit at speed as well. Hello Ash, hello Rick, how are you doing guys? Welcome to the stream this evening. This should be a cracking evening of racing. I'm 100% certain of it. But let's watch Lawrence, and he's making his way through to back now to start off Sector 3 into the swimming pool section. Now it's purple, but we'll ignore that on these first runs, as it always is the case with this. I bet this will be more exciting than... Yeah, probably. It will probably be more exciting than the actual Monaco race, but we're yet to see. Here comes Lawrence then, round the final couple of corners. That little kink is turn 19 on the left-hand side, but Lawrence sets the pace. It's an 11.8 from the Red Bull driver. Let's see who else is out on circuit. Our championship leader's out at the moment, but I don't think he's going to be next to set a lap. That's going to go to little Manny Man. He is in the McLaren. He's coming through Rascasse now, the final couple of corners as well. Yes, Rick, I think it might be as well. We've had a great season. Monaco put a strong race to beat. Yeah, I'll have to ask Ghost about Tier 1, but 13.3... not a bad go from little Manny Man. Is Tier on a lap. Let's see what he can do. And his Mercedes is a 14.2. And I think there's a Williams about to come across. That's JB, a 13.1. Not bad. We look to our championship leader now. He's making his way through Rascasse in the final couple of corners. Can the Ferrari set up a lap to challenge toward the top in his early stages of qualifying? It's looking relatively fast, but it's only a 12.2. So he's got some time to make up out there. And this qualifying session is going to be the most important qualifying session that these Tier 2 drivers are going to come through, as it may yet define the race. And I think we've finally got Ghost back. Hello Ghost, how you doing?
Hello. Yeah, my telemetry is not working. I don't know why. It's the same
dear.
as a couple of weeks ago. I've absolutely no idea. There's no reason why it shouldn't be working, so I don't know. But anyway, regardless, it looks like Lawrence has set a good opening lap.
Yeah, he has. He's an 11.8. Daft's not too far behind. It's 4 tenths to find. And, well, I was just saying, Ghost, that this qualifying session is probably going to be, well, I think is going to be the most important one for the Tier 2 drivers out there, as this track is notoriously hard for overtakes.
Absolutely. It is almost impossible to overtake around here. You need the other driver to make a mistake before you have any chance at all, and then you need to capitalize on it as well. It's very, very tricky. LB's on a lap at the moment. Robsu's gone into P2, by the way, split the top two almost exactly in half with that lap time, and LB is going to look to try and beat that. Everyone was very concerned about Daft's pace in a practice session that they did before this this qualifying session, but at the moment it seems like Lawrence and Robsu are the ones on top.
Yeah, it does at the moment, and Robsu just outbeating his teammate as well. What can LB do? This fight between the Ferraris and Red Bulls has been tooth and nail, and it's going to continue. This is, of course, the 7th round, and we've got 2 more rounds after this, and, well, it's going to be quite the 2 rounds for these 4 drivers to scrap, and that was a little bit scrappy from LB coming through Rascasse there and round the final couple of corners down the pit straight, and this isn't going to be the best representative time for LB, but it does put him into the top 4, just ahead of the Williams duo.
Yeah, that's the important thing. As long as he doesn't get stuck behind another car that's not in those top 2 teams, he'll be relatively happy. We do have Maniac Mango in the lobby, I noticed. That's good. Sock's on an out lap at the moment. He says he's going to break the record for the most number of pit stops in one race today, so we'll see if he can do that. But yeah, maybe he'll have a good race. I believe in him, as Wumax is 5.5 tenths up through Sector 1.
Yeah, hello Lifebout. He says, guys, do not crash in qualifying. Do not do that. I'm guessing Lifebout did that from your reaction there, Ghost.
Yeah, he did that on Friday. Before he'd even set a lap, his first lap, he crashed at the swimming pool section. And ended up at the back of the grid and lost 10 points to me, or something like that. Maybe it was like 6 points or something. So yeah, he did not have a good time, as Wumax goes into P3, and he could disrupt these top 2 teams here. He's just a reserve today, of course, but the Bulgarian looking decent with that kind of pace.
Yeah, Wumax is no slouch. When he does get out there, he does manage to put on a quick lap. Ash says, yes, you need the other driver to make a mistake somewhere. You can capitalise, for sure. Lifebout admitting that he does know this from experience, of course. Life Bottle as his other name would suggest, but we won't bully Lifebout too much here on the stream. But
we will.
Well, you can. Maybe I will. Who knows? It's a long stream, Ghost. We've got 10 minutes left of qualifying. We've got 39 laps, and I'm sure there'll be a safety car or two. So, you know, if that happens, Lifebout, I'm sorry, but not sorry.
Oh, he's going to win the Elite Championship. I'm sure he can manage. But yeah, LB nearly losing the car in the tunnel. That could have been disaster. He's going to lose his lap as a result, but luckily he stays in the session and doesn't have that infamous quali crash like Lifebout says. But he's still 6/10 up through Sector 2, so it's not bad at all, even with no ERS and a mistake in the tunnel from LB. And he was purple through Sector 1 and 2, but he's clipped the tyre barrier, or he's clipped the barrier on the entry to Raskas, and that's going to be a pit stop. His lap is gone, but we had a glimpse of the sort of pace that LB has.
Yeah, there we go then. So LB does have some pace behind the wheel, and I'm watching Darth Hill as he's making his way through. This is looking relatively quick from the Ferrari. Can he get himself into the 1 minute 11? So it's a 1 minute 11.1.
That's pole. That's pole. No one's beating that. No one. That's just pole position. He did an 11.7 in practice, and everyone was very worried. No one's beating that. That's pole position.
Yeah, that's it. Well, that's your qualifier, folks. Skip ahead to the race, and then you could probably watch a couple laps. Maybe watch the first 5, and skip to the end, and the result will probably be the same. Crows is out of qualifying, folks. He's crashed at Raskas. Not the ideal qualifying session for the Williams driver, returning of course after a little break from last week. I don't think he was here. I think it was just JB who got himself on the podium, if I'm remembering Brazil correctly.
He was there briefly, and then his connection decided that he wasn't going to join the lobby.
There you go.
So yeah, Maniac Mango currently on a lap in the McLaren, coming towards Raskas now. It's looking pretty hooked up from the man in the McLaren. As who was that just improved? I think it was JB up to P5, I think. Or no, it was Tier up to P6. Look at that. But I think both of them improved. Maniac Mango now beats him up into P6. So close times there in the midfield.
Yeah, very close times, and it's going to be the finest of margins that define qualifying here, I think. And, well, if you can get one magic lap hooked up like Darth has just done, then you can find yourself in a really good position. I mean, look at Esteban Ocon, who found himself in P3 after Charles Leclerc's grid penalty and a great qualifying session, and he ended up on the podium in that Alpine when he maybe would have been overtaken on a track that was a bit wider and a bit more open than this one. So anything can really happen if you put your car in the right place. And can Womack put his car in the right place? We're yet to find out. He's starting his lap in his Alfa Romeo, so we'll see what he's got under the tank. No, invalidated from Bergen. Not impossible to do around here, but it's you know, it's certainly no easy feat throughout the majority of corners.
Yeah, it's easiest place to do it is the Nouvelle Chicane, Sumo, and also the swimming pool section as Robsu at that very corner gets very squirrely. I think he broke his wing, and yeah, into the pits he goes. He's not going to finish that lap, but yeah, it's very easy to do at Nouvelle. If you want to get the best exit, you've got to just completely chop across the corner, and if you turn a little bit too early, then there goes your lap. So, yeah, it's deceptively easy.
Lawrence just did. Sandevot there, he took a bit too much curb. I was going to ride on board with him on his lap, but it's not going to be the best one from the Red Bull, so we'll wait and see what he's got. Womack's invalidated again. He was up by 1.1 seconds, but I feel like he might have gone straight across the Nouvelle Chicane.
I think he did. I think he did.
It's certainly not allowed.
It's not.
No.
It's
naughty.
It's Monaco. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that he was getting out of someone's way.
Yes, it is Monaco, and well, you've got to do what you've got to do, haven't you? But I think LB, he's about to start a lap, letting Sox through, sensibly so. Maybe sacrifice some tyre warmth. He's going to let his teammate get past as well. He's going to want the clearest air possible. And I'll ride on board with LB. He's about to start a lap. He's coming through Raskas now, and this is mostly just to show you how tight and what sort of conditions these drivers are under. But these final two corners, that's one, that's number two. Just where that DRS sign is on the left and opens up the DRS and foot straight down on the throttle as the Mercedes Atir stays out of the way or is retired. I don't know, he was slow in the pit lane, but either way, up through Beau Rivage. Now comes the Red Bull, and we're coming in towards turn number 3. I should remember these corner names. Let's get the track map up so I can. This is Casino through here, and to end off sector 1 you come down into the braking zone of Mirabeau, and then we're into I don't know the name of this hairpin, the Lowe's hairpin I think it's called.
Yeah, Lowe's.
Actually, there you go, Ghost. It's the Lowe's hairpin, and then through towards Portier into, it's not this one but it's this one here, in towards, and that looked fairly hooked up from LB, so through the tunnel now flat all the way down to the Nouvelle chicane. It's going to be a very heavy braking zone. The sun glares at you when you come out of the tunnel, and heavy on the brakes and very tight through there, as close to the wall as you like, and you can just see how on the limit these drivers are. Then through to back, a little scrape of the wall from LB, close enough to scrape the wall on the outside there, into the swimming pool section, so fast, so far on the limit as he comes through. Then a couple more corners now. Raskas is turn number 17, and then we've got 18 and 19 to round off the lap. This is looking relatively quick from LB. Can he unsettle the times at the top? It's not looking likely, but it's a 1 minute 12.0, goes 100th of a second faster than Robsu.
Yeah, that's really, really important from LB to get that lap in, and Robsu's 3/10 down in sector 1, so he's not improving at the moment. Lawrence on an out lap, but yeah, really important lap that is from LB. Qualifying absolutely crucial around here, so if you can hook up that lap. But JBS Steve, he's only 2/10 away from P3, so do keep an eye on him. He's not on a lap right now, but you know, don't count him out. Same with Maniac Mango. Tier's not that far off as well. This is the thing about Monaco, it doesn't matter how far behind someone seems on their opening laps or whatever, because I mean, if you hook up a good lap, you can gain 7-8 tenths easily around this track if you had a sort of subpar lap beforehand. So this qualifying is never done until it's over around this track, unless we're talking about pole in this case.
Yes, of course. And well, speaking of good laps, little Manny Man was on a decent looking lap, and he went very, very deep into Raskas, and he slapped the barrier for good measure, and that really just ruined his lap as he went round in his McLaren. That's a huge shame for him. Lawrence is starting now. Can he get himself on there? Of course, Lawrence running no line, so this is probably the most difficult race for him, and I think in interviews he said he wasn't particularly looking forward to this one. If I remember rightly, I don't know, it was a week ago. Yeah, he did, and without line, I don't blame him at all, but coming through Mirabeau, it looks relatively hooked up, but not purple.
Yeah, just a couple of hundredths down from his previous best in Sector 1, but that doesn't matter. Imagine, for instance, if he didn't get Nouvelle quite right in his first attempt. If he gets it absolutely bang on, that's 5 tenths. So, you know, we'll see as he comes down towards the Nouvelle chicane right now. Brakes very late for it and goes over the curb, and that's what I'm talking about. Just chopping over that curb, really easy to invalidate, and that's what he's done, unfortunately. But it was looking good from Lawrence. He'll have one more attempt, but it will be tight. He's going to have to, and his tyres will be worn. I'd be surprised if he improved, but look who has improved. Womax up to second place, and that's really going to disrupt the championship order.
Yeah, it is. And Tier just invalidating at the swimming pool section. I reckon he might be able to go out again. Lawrence will probably try. LB, I don't know. I think his session might be over. He's not really got the ERS for a lap. And, well, the end of this qualifying session has really crept up on us now. And Maniac Mango's invalidated, but he's got a chance to go again. I think most drivers will get another go. Little Manny Man's out on track, but I think his is over. He's got no ERS left to really push with. How about JBS Steve and his Williams making his way through to back now? What can the Williams driver do? Can he disrupt the top 5 at the moment? Let's see as he makes his way. It's purple in the second sector.
Yeah, 3 tenths up on his previous best. He's just got to hook up Raskas. He's gone a bit deep into Raskas. That's going to cost him a few tenths, and down through the final corner and along the straight. Can he disrupt the top guys? Yes, he can. 11.6 from JB up to P3. He'll be absolutely delighted with that. Lawrence is coming through. He's going to go for one more attempt, but he's going to be on worn tyres. I cannot see him improving on worn tyres unless he really screwed up something in his previous attempt. What about Robsu as well? He's just starting a lap in the Ferrari, and he's down in P6 now, and that's how quickly things have changed.
Yeah, someone else looking to make some waves in the qualifying order is Tier. He's got very little ERS, but he was improved on his middle sector. Let's see what he can do in the Mercedes coming around the final corner just now down towards the straight. It's looking relatively fast. The 12.3 moves him up a place at the moment, and that's what you need in Monaco. LB is 11.7, and that's his qualifying finished for this evening. So that's where the Red Bull's going to start. What about the other one? We'll wait and see. Mango's coming across the line. I think that's his session over. No major improvement from the McLaren.
Yeah, Robsu was 1.5 tenths up through Sector 1, as was Lawrence, to my surprise. I didn't think he could improve on old softs, but he's doing exactly that. Robsu 4 tenths up now, so he could see himself onto the front row, which would be absolutely massive for Ferrari, unless this McLaren gets in his way. Oh, no! And Robsu is going to be devastated with that. That's going to lose him several tenths. It could easily lose him his entire lap. I think it's lost him some time. I think he would have been on the front row. He'll be annoyed with that one, but he's still up to P3. What about Lawrence? He's coming through. He was 3 tenths up through Sector 2, down through the final 2 corners. Can he get himself on the front row? That's what he needs to do. It would be extremely impressive on worn tyres. He's the last one to come across the line. What's it going to be? 11.4 in second place. He's done it. Hugely important lap from Lawrence. That's massively impressive on 2-lap-old softs.
Wow, magic. He's unlocked some pace in those old tyres, and he's not on the front, but he's on the front row. That's important for where he needs to be. Can he jump Daphne Hillis, who has taken pole position? It is yet to be found out, but that is your Monaco qualifying, and wow, it was a spectacle, as it always is around this circuit. I may complain about the racing, but damn, is a qualifying session around here phenomenal. Daphne Hillis then is your man on pole position, with Lawrence lining up alongside him in P2, just unlocking that little bit of pace at the moment he needed it. Womack is disrupting the order in P3, with Robsu lining alongside him to make up row number 2. Then there's JBS Steve rounding off your top 5. We've got LB in P6, not where he would have wanted to be at all. In tier P7, Mango P8. Then there's Krauser and Little Manny Man who round off your top 10. Then we've got Bergen and Sox to round off the rest of the grid, and I think we're in for a great little race here, Ghost.
I think so, yeah. Everyone's really close. I mean, there's a big gap to 6 and 7, but other than that, all the times are pretty damn close. So I think it could well be top 6 and then the rest, but I think everyone's going to be quite close together here. And even then, it just takes one car to start holding people up, and you've got a train of, well, the entire grid. So we'll see what happens. While formation lap is going, I'm just going to check my telemetry again to see if it started working, because that's what it did a couple of weeks ago. So I'm just going to, I'll be right back. No
problem. You are watching Tier 2 Lifebout, and you're getting bullied, so that's what's going on here. Yes, Nisha is here. Hello, it's always nice to have Nisha in the chat. And get some predictions in, perhaps, folks. What do you think? Who's going to come out on top? Is it going to be Darth, who defends it all the way? Is that Lawrence going to jump in at the very start? Who knows? It's all yet to be written in the next 38 laps or so. But yes, another good race, and it looks like it's going to stay dry out there for the moment. Although if any drivers are in, do let us know. And well, there's 7 people watching the stream at the moment. 4 of you have not liked. You know who you are, so make sure you pop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. All the support does go a very, very long way as I continue my career as a commentator. I do very much love this hobby / job that I have now, and it's something that really brings me some excitement and joy. So if you could support me, then that would be fantastic. And go over and support Ghost as well. He does some stuff for VSRL. They love him over there with the Elite Racing League. I don't get to join him all the time, but when I do, it's always a blast. But we're on the formation lap, and let's talk strategy then. It's mediums for the top 3 drivers. Then Robsu is opting to go long on the hards, the only driver opting for the hard compound of tyre. JBS Steve, LB, Tier and Mango opting for the mediums. Then Crozer standing out among the crowd, taking the soft compound of tyre. I wonder how good that is going to be as a race tyre. Then we've got Maniman, Bergen and Socks on the mediums. Any thoughts, Ghost?
Yeah, softs are, I mean, the idea of the softs is to go soft hard. So you do laps on the softs, you get stuck behind the medium runners, and then you go onto the hards and undercut them all. That's going to be Crozer's plan. It's only going to work if he A, doesn't get damage, and B, is fast enough to undercut people, and if people get held up, which they could well do, because Robsu, on those hard tyres, could hold up everyone behind him, and Crozer could find himself in P4 if this strategy works here. But like I said, the first step is not getting damage, and that's going to be really difficult when you have a lot more grip than everyone around you. Yeah, unfortunately my telemetry is not working. I don't know why, so I'm going to have to manually enter everything later, which is going to be a pain. But,
oh gosh. Well, as we feel for Ghost's long night ahead of him, we line up on the grid as the 4D games. I had this set up in my head to say, and it's gone. As the high-speed 4D game of chess is ramping up with the strategies already, but we're lining up on the grid. Are we going to get a decent camera angle for the start? No, we're not. Thanks, Codemasters. Let's ride on board with Lawrence then. We're waiting for the lights. Can the Red Bull jump the Ferrari at the start of this race? Here we go then, and it looks like a good start. The Ferrari's already covering off Lawrence as well, but Lawrence is going to come at him already. Looks to the outside of Sandoval. No worries, and it's absolute carnage toward the back. JPS Steve's trying to make up some places, and I think he went over the corner, and there's some damage to somebody's front ring. There's debris flying along. Tier is making some places up as well. When JP has dropped down in his Williams at the moment, almost into the back of LB goes Tier at the moment, and he goes into the wall for good measure. And JPS Steve makes his way through a Mirabeau at the moment, and it's a chaotic start. But they've all now filtered out to go one by one as they go for the Lowe's hairpin.
That was a great start, I've got to say. Everyone battling, but everyone keeping it relatively clean from my perspective. I don't know about you, Sumo, but yeah, Tier making moves, and then that mistake through that section just gave up the position back to JB. Again, as Crozer sends it down the inside at Nouvelle, as Tier has to cut the chicane in order to stay, keep his car pointing in the right direction, but yeah, Crozer really went for that one and caught Tier off guard, I think.
Yeah, and we've got a couple big battles brewing already. Romax is already caught onto the back of Robsu, and the Robsu train is fully left the station now as the drivers start filtering their way back. We've got some errors in the timing table, so be mindful of those as we continue down. Can Crozer make any moves in his Williams? He's got those softer tyres up. Borovacca goes already, almost used all of his ERS. He's really pushing Tier up the hill at the moment, but he's really got no way through. He's met with walls and very, very little gaps that are there, but it's possible to get overtakes done, but you've got to be super cautious.
Talking of cautious, nearly went into the back of Tier. Just about managed to avoid him and nearly did a Rosberg down the escape road, but kept it on the track. But Crozer is struggling because he's got so much more grip than everyone else, but he just can't do anything with it other than crash into people at this point. So that dive bomb earlier that failed is potentially very costly, as Tier gets a 3-second time penalty on lap 2, which is not a good sign for him. But yeah, Crozer, it's still according to plan because he needs to go soft to hard, but it's not what he would have hoped for.
No, not at all. And he'd have wanted to try and jump a couple of drivers at least, but he's going to have to really try. DRS will be activated this lap. Lawrence is the fastest man out on track at the moment. That begs the question: can he get past Daphne Hillers, or is Daphne Hillers maybe hiding a little bit of pace in his Ferrari at the moment in these opening stages? Who knows at the moment, but we've still got 36 laps left to go, and we've got a yellow flag.
Stop,
they're both out!
They've crashed! I think Darth crashed and Lawrence couldn't avoid him! Oh no! Lawrence is going to be absolutely devastated because I don't think it was him. He was the car behind, so he must have just crashed into Darth. Oh, what a disaster for both of them. But, wow, and this race is wide open now because all the medium runners are going to undercut Robsu.
How is that not a safety car?
Because it's bugged around here. It never comes out.
Amazing. That was real life. That was a red flag. Guaranteed. 2 cars stricken. Yeah. Like, no chance. Wow. This championship has just been opened wide up. LB is going to be licking his lips.
It's the man who said he had no chance today. Here he is in P3. Both his main rivals DNF'd. Robsu leading the race on hards. LB on the mediums. Darth has said in chat sorry to Lawrence, so yeah, I think my version of events was correct. They think Darth just made a mistake and hit the wall and Lawrence couldn't avoid him and took them both out. Lawrence is absolutely devastated and I don't blame him. He's not done anything wrong there and he's out.
Well, Max is all over the back of this Ferrari. He had a little look in towards Mirabeau, but wasn't really close enough to launch a dive bomb. We saw a couple of those in the real Grand Prix. Kevin Magnussen made a great move into that corner. But yes, Womack has really got some grip over Robsu on the hard tyre, and he might be sweating a little bit now in that Ferrari. Now he's leading this race with hard compound of tyres, and it's, well, only a matter of time before the medium runners come in and start that undercut process. But wow, this race has really been turned up in its head, and what a moment to miss. This is championship defining stuff, folks, at Monaco. And well, it may be a boring race at times and a bit of a procession, but when things happen like this, it's action, action, action. And well, we've lost another driver. That's Maniac Mango. He's crashed at the second part of the swimming pool section.
Yeah, another easy place to do it. You have to go over the curb to get the fastest line, but sometimes that can send you into the wall. That could be what just happened to Maniac Mango. Unfortunately, another disappointing race outcome for him as Womack's nearly into the back of Robsu again through Casino. But they're both just about keeping it clean for now, but you can tell Womax is getting a little bit frustrated behind Robsu, and, well, who can blame him, as LB is now right on the back of them as well, and at this point JB might catch them, as well as Tia, who's still running well. Crows are still on those softs as well, as I think a mistake from Bergen, because softs has gone by, but yeah, Crows, I wonder when he's going to come in.
Yes, I wonder so, and is that... No way. I don't believe it. I'm assuming, I mean, unless there's another Lawrence who's an avid watcher of the races and at APPF1, he says he won't be returning this season. To see you all in F1 23. That is a huge shame.
Well, that is a shame. And well, the adrenaline runs high after a crash, especially a crash at Monaco, as we see Tia go into the wall there. I wonder if that gave him a bit of damage at Raskas, but yeah, I mean, we'll come back to him later on in the week and see if he's still thinking that. But yeah, I don't blame him. The adrenaline's running high after that kind of crash, especially with your championship rival. It feels very bitter, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's not over yet, not by a long shot. There's still 2 more races, and well, LB, you know, he's had a cracking season so far, but if we keep talking about him, he might just find his way into the barrier, which is normally the case around here. And well, it looks like Sox and Bergen, they're going to be lapped very soon, which is quite, well, I mean, it's not too unbelievable, but it's quite soon for the pair of them. Only lap 6.
Yeah, the 2 of them have been, well, battling so far, which is not something you see around here. But it does look like Bergen is the faster of the 2, but perhaps just Sox and himself making a few too many mistakes and then being let through. But they're going to have to get out the way of the leaders as they approach. The blue flags are going to come out pretty soon. Just a championship update, by the way, Sumo. If all finished as it is, then LB would be leading the championship by 6 points over Darth.
Ooh. Well then. That really does unsettle the nest at the moment. And well, Womack is in a good little spot as well. If he can keep ahead of LB, the reserve driver might find himself on the top step if he manages to undercut Robsu properly. And he's not looking slow around here at all.
Absolutely right. He's looking really good as the Bulgarian, as Robsu now definitely catching up to those two lapped cars. But yeah, I think the sort of action of the first few laps has died down a bit, and now it's about survival, keeping your car on the track and getting the strategy right. If you even pit one lap too late, then that could lose you 1 or 2 positions depending on where everyone is around you. So it's all about tactics and strategy now, as Bergen very sportingly gets out of the way of the leaders. Hopefully Sox does the same as LB. Hit the barrier at Raskas. I wonder if that's damage to the Red Bull. There's no visible damage, but even just olive green damage around here, which is sort of non-visible on spectator view, but you can feel it in the cockpit. It can cost you up to half a second, if not more, around here.
Well, it's hard to tell. We really can't see. Not getting some decent angles, and of course, if it's olive green, we're not going to be able to see it at all. And well, that's another thing that I think Europe needs to do. I mean, there's a huge... I think the biggest issue with this game, as far as the spectators goes, it's not spectator friendly at all. Horrible camera angles, very limited information, and well, yeah, it's just not the best, is it?
No, it's not. We do our best. we do our best with what we've got. But yeah, especially those start angles, I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, Womack's nearly falling out of DRS range of Robsu right now, so it's starting to get in the crossovers. Womack taps the wall there out of whatever that corner is, I can't remember now.
To back.
That's the one, to back. As Sox, there we go, gets out of the way. Thank you for that one, Sox. But yeah, Womack could have some damage there. Nothing visible on the car, but as we say, it could easily be there. And then as LB is losing time dramatically now, he's just lost about half a second that lap. And what did I say about olive green damage? Who's that? Crozer, there we go, finally into the pits. I'm surprised it took him this long, to be honest. That will be hard to the end. You can take them 36 laps and they won't be in puncture territory, Sumo. So he'll be fine getting to the end on those. So his duty now is don't spin while they're cold and then push and try and undercut everyone. And he could be onto a winner here. Not literally a winner. I don't think he's got enough in the tank for that, but definitely can gain some positions.
Yeah, he can, and I think, you know, it's what's important. I think the strategy is probably the largest element into any success around Monaco. It's such a key component to getting everything right, and I think now that Crozer's got that clean air, he's got that space to think, he hasn't got any distractions ahead of him or behind him, he's going to be able to push and maybe gain some time and see what happens. These medium runners, they're going to be going a long way. I wouldn't expect them to be coming in until about, I'm going to say around lap 18 is when I'd imagine they'd come in at the latest.
It's probably more like lap 22 or so.
22, there you go then.
But yeah, because those mediums start deteriorating after 14, 15, you start to really feel it around that time. So yeah, I don't think we'll see hard runners coming in, well, Robsu at least, come in until lap 20. But he's going to have to watch out, because these medium runners definitely are going to be able to undercut him if all goes wrong. And this is why I just don't like starting on the hards at Monaco, because you can all too easily get undercut and lose a bunch of positions. And also, if something goes wrong, which it can so easily do in the opening few laps on this track, you are then just absolutely done for the whole race, because you can't go onto another set of hards, as LB gets himself a 3-second time penalty, and with everyone so close, I wonder how impactful that's going to be.
Well, Ghost, the gap to leader from Krauser to Robsu is 25.0 seconds. Now, if I'm remembering rightly, you lose 20 seconds in the pit lane around Monaco. So if he can make up 5 seconds, it could be crucial.
Bergan is out of the race, and Sox has spun as well. Sorry to interrupt you there, Sumo. So I'm not sure what happened there, if there was a crash or just something akin to what happened between Darth and Lawrence. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's about 19 seconds. So if Crozer can get that undercut in, then he might well be able to win this race. Who knows? It's far from over.
Yeah, it certainly is. We'll keep an eye on that gap as we go. For the moment, it's down to 24.4, so it's looking good. And well, what Robsu's doing as being the hard runner is he's keeping these these medium runners behind him and slow. They're not getting the most out of those tyres as they would like. And well, if Rumax and LB close up again a little bit, it might cause Robsu to maybe drive a bit more cautiously at the moment. But I think he's just keeping it careful, keeping it nice and clean as he makes his way through the swimming pool section for the 11th time tonight. And well, he's got an uphill battle. I think he's got a lot of drivers who are vying for that position. And while Crozer has made the first move as far as the strategy games go.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And, well, if the thing is here, if LB DNFs from this race and Robsu wins, then that brings the championship into, well, all 3 out of 4 of the championship contenders will have DNF'd this race, and Robsu will have won. And with his good form, after he missed the first race of the season, Robsu would only be 1 point behind Darth, if that's how things turned out. With 2 races to go, so all to play for. Sox has spun again through the start of Sector 3 there. I do have an update as well from Bergan in the Discord chat. He's just pinged Sox and said we probably should have both backed out there, sorry. So clearly they were both having quite a nice battle, which unfortunately has ended in tears.
Oh dear, as it all too commonly does around here at the moment. And Womax is putting the pressure on again. Maybe a little mistake from Robsu, or maybe just some pushing from Womax. It's not really much use for the ERS system around this track unless you're going for an overtake. But you know, it's, well, Womax is doing what Crozer wants him to do, I think. And if he carries on putting the pressure on and maybe battles, then this race could fall into the hands of the Williams, who, you know what, Ghost, I think he'd deserve it if he did. He was absolutely robbed at Monza, him and JB. And if he could win Monaco, I think that would be a good consolation prize.
100%. I mean, he's 21.7 seconds behind at the moment, so it's not quite enough. But yeah, Womax, absolutely, like you say, putting the pressure on. I think there must have been a mistake from Robsu because the gap's going back up again now. But Tier into the pits, by the way, for damage to his wing. So we had to replace that, and he's dropped behind Crozer, but he'll take those hards to the end as well.
Yeah, a little bit slow for Robsu through the Novell chicane there, but he's gained a little bit of time. It's sort of lingering around that 9/10 of a second gap, and well, we say that we got the DRS, but it's not overly effective. Corner cutting penalty for Sox, 5 seconds. Looks like he might have gone straight on at the Nouvelle chicane there. Not something you want to do all too often. LB is now in, so the pit stops are starting, and well, where is he going to come out in relation to Crozer? That's what I'm saying. Crouzer's just made his way through the swimming pool, and he's coming through Rascasse now. Let's see what he can do in his Williams through the final couple of corners. There's LB coming out. I think he is. Here he comes. It's going to be close. No, he's well ahead before they get to Saint Devote, and Crozer's ahead. So keep an eye on this Williams, everyone, as this Williams is flying along. Let's have a look at the gap at the moment. Gap to lead at 21.5. He's still got a bit of time to find out there. Can he do it? We'll wait and see as we go. But Robsu has opened up that gap once more.
Yeah, I don't think Crozer quite has the pace unless Robsu makes a big error. I don't think Crozer really has the pace to challenge for the lead here. But although as Robsu's tyres start degrading, you never know, that gap could start coming down. But Robsu, this is the thing though, Robsu, unless he's getting information from Darth, and as far as I'm aware they don't go in a party, so I don't think he is, Robsu doesn't know who his main challenger for the win is here. As far as he's concerned, his main challenger is Womax, So if he comes out the pits and sees Crozer ahead of him, he's going to get the shock of his life.
Yeah, he is, and I've just had another look at the gap, Ghost. It's just dropped underneath 21 seconds, and Robsu's just slapped the wall at Casino.
Oh, well, that could be damage to the Ferrari. If it is, that's very important, because it's going to lose him a lot of time. So I'm just going to keep an eye on that gap to Crozer and see if that starts coming down. But of course, Crozer's got to keep it clean as well, which is not easy to do. So it's all going to be a battle of attrition around here, as that gap has come down another 4/10 about where where Robsu put it into the wall, and now it's come down below 20 seconds. Oh, it could be game on here.
It really could be, and from my observations, Ghost, I've been watching Robsu the last few laps. He's quite slow coming through the Nouvelle chicane. That's where Womack is catching him, and I think it's where the hard tyres have that deficit to the mediums. They just don't have the grip to get through that twisty part of the circuit like the medium tyres do, and well, Krauser seems to be hooking it up pretty well through that section of the circuit. And well, JB's now into the pits. That's the sister Williams, of course. I don't think he's going to be making any gains under this stop. I think LB's firmly got himself ahead at the minute. Well, he's got a few seconds to Krauser ahead of him, who's currently in control. But this could be close, actually. JB's just exiting, but no, there goes LB at the moment. But well, could it be a vie for third place? Probably not for the other Williams, but you never know. Things are heating up toward the front, though.
Well, as it stands, Lil Manny Man would, when he pits, he's going to come out behind JB. But he'll be very close with Tier, so keep an eye on that little battle between the McLaren and the Mercedes. But gap to leader, it's 19 seconds, but Crozer gets a 3-second time penalty for track limits, and that could end up costing him the win here, because that gap is now below 19 seconds, and Robsu, if he pits now, is going to be behind the Williams, and Womack is going to be pitting soon. He stays out again. That's a surprise. I thought he'd be in now. Lil Manny Man, see if he comes in, but the mediums are going to really start struggling at this point in the race. Lil Manny Man stays out as well, so those medium runners going long, at least the two that are still out there. But Crozer, yeah, that 3-second time penalty, and with Robsu on the mediums, he won't be able to overtake Crozer, but he can definitely get within 3 seconds.
They're absolutely hugging the wall as they come through turn number 3 at the moment. So close, making it through Massenet, and it's great to see these drivers on the limit. Robsu still in the lead at the moment, keeping Womack at bay for the time being. We're still keeping an eye on that gap at the moment, and it is 17.1 seconds, so it's almost guaranteed. Lifebound says the pit stop is around 22 seconds around this circuit, so it is almost set that Krauser is going to come in. And is this the strategy to go on, I wonder, going forward? Who knows, but Krauser certainly played it off well for the time being. But that 3-second time penalty, that is what could come back to haunt him, but it's so easily done at the corners, the danger corners for cutting, that anyone could really get themselves a penalty at this stage, and we're only about halfway through, and Womack still stays out. How about Manny Man?
Yeah, I mean, this is why you just starting on the hards on this track is such a massive risk. Little Manny Man's in, so he's decided enough is enough, and watch the gap to Tier. Whether he's going to be ahead or behind the Mercedes is going to be interesting, but yeah, but although I did check the race director just now, Sumo, Robsu is on 2 warnings and has been since lap 5. So we'll see. If he comes out behind Crozer and sees the 3-second time penalty, he's obviously going to think, right, okay, just got to keep it clean now for track limits. But as it stands, he could come out behind LB or even JB as well, and he could be down in 4th place, which would be a disaster for him.
Manny Man's just jumped Tier in the pit lane, it seems, and Tier is, well, he's close. He's got the warmer tyres, but this is Monaco, folks. Is he going to get past? Most likely not, but we'll wait and see what the Mercedes can do. And meanwhile, Womack looks like he's got a poor exit through the Nouvelle chicane on this occasion, and he's opened up that gap a little bit to Robsu ahead. We're keeping an eye on the battles. It looks very close between Tier and Little Manny Man as they come through the Lowe's hairpin and down through Portier into the tunnel at the moment. And well, Tier's used a lot of the ERS, which again, has not much use around here, and Womack is still out.
He's stayed out again. I was about to say, I can't believe he's still out on track. On those mediums, I mean, maybe he's trying something absolutely ridiculous like medium soft, which, I mean, that's not going to work. So, I mean, we'll see. But Robsu, got to be a worried man in that Ferrari, because now Crozer's into the top 5, well into the top 5. So now Robsu's going to see the gap between him, Crozer, LB, and JB. And he's going to think, oh, this could have gone very badly for me, because getting past, even on mediums compared to hards, it's not an easy ordeal at all.
No, it's really not, and it doesn't matter how fast you are. If there's no space for you to move, you can't make it. Let's show the gap to leader again. It's more or less as it is, but it's 15.1 seconds between Krauser and Robsu. Krauser's got this in the bag unless he makes any more mistakes, or Robsu doesn't get a penalty towards the end. But is Womack's going to come in? He's making his way round towards the pit lane.
Oh! Carbon copy of what I did on Friday. Very good save from Womack, and he's into the pits finally, but he's going to come out well behind JB.
Yeah, tyre change and an underwear change, I think, there. Not what you want to do. There's some ghostly AlphaTauri pit crew out there. Let's see where Womack is going to come out. Crozer's obviously jumped in. What about LB? This could be close. He's going to fall behind them both.
Yep. Down to P5, so it's gone disastrously wrong for Womack, and that is the power of the undercut around this track. You just can't stay out for too long, because this is going to happen, and that shows that Robsu will indeed drop behind JB when he pits. So Robsu, a massive, massive uphill battle for this Ferrari to get into the top 3, never mind win the race.
Yeah, and the pendulum swings once more towards Red Bull as well. They're going to have some gains on this race at all. And, well, LB's got a penalty as well. So Krauser's looking relatively safe, although JB is close to the back of LB. So is this going to be absolute redemption for Williams here at Monaco? It would be absolutely outrageous, but I'm all here for it.
A 1-2 is on the cards, Sumo. It really is. And it should have been in Monza, like you say, so I really hope so. I don't wish ill on anyone, but I really, it just feels like they were so robbed in Italy, and getting a 1-2 around Monaco, of all places, I think would be the ultimate redemption. So I do hope they can do it, but it's still a long way to go. 18 and a half laps around Monaco. Anything can still happen. Mistakes are rampant.
They certainly are, and do not count those chickens before they hatch. Tears made another foray. That was the word I was looking for, I think. Foray into the pits again. He's on fresh mediums now. Must have give the wall a little tap. You don't want to do that. Barrier is a big fan of Monaco, and he's here every year. But yes. Oh, that was a big one from JB out of Portier.
Very easy to do. There's almost no traction out of that corner. So JB just about keeping hold of the car though this time. And Robsu into the pits. He's into the pits. There we go. A lap 20, like I said, or 21. And mediums it is. But is he going to come out ahead of Womack? That's the question. No, it's a new front wing, so he's not. He's going to be behind the Alfa Romeo. He must have picked up damage somewhere. He's repaired his front wing, which I think is going to be a mistake. He's going to drop all the way down to P5. Crozer now leads this race by, I'm just about to see the gap, by 4 seconds. And Robsu out the pits in P5, fresh mediums. But, the uphill battle to gain anything now is going to be massive. And he nearly came out even behind Lil Manny Man.
Very nearly. Little Manny Man only 1.2 seconds behind Robsu, so it's absolutely flipped on its head for Robsu. Starting on the hards was the wrong strategy for him, and then, starting on the softs, that seems to have been the correct strategy to go. Krauser is well ahead now. He's gapped that 3-second time penalty. LB's got a time penalty for good measure as well, and his teammate, he doesn't need to make that pass. He's just got to stay with LB, keep it clean, and he can get himself in P2.
Yeah, he certainly could. He's just got to keep it clean, like you say. But like we saw from that big moment out of Portier, anything can happen at any time, and he's hit the wall there in swimming pool as well, which could cost him some damage. It did look like a decent tap of that wall on the front of the car, so we'll see if he starts dropping off to LB. He certainly looked slow through Anthony Nose, so I think we might see JB drop off here, and that could be a race-defining error.
It really could be at the moment, but we'll wait and see as we go along. And speaking of tapping the wall, I think where Robsu got that damage was when he hit the wall at Casino Square. That was quite a significant impact. I think I was riding along with him when he did it, so you couldn't see any damage being taken to the car, but you certainly heard how hard he hit that wall as he was going through, and I think that might have been what cost him at the moment. But yes, woe for Ferrari, although if you're LB right now, things are looking pretty good.
They certainly are. I mean, well, Womax is catching, so LB could drop to 4th, but I'm sure he would definitely take that. If he drops to 5th, he'll be a little bit miffed with that penalty, but you know, anything can still happen, and with Robsu trying to push to make up some ground, as well as Womax, they could, either of them still could get a penalty before the end, as well as JB, so it's far from over. But JB's caught back up, so I think he just about survived that tap of the wall at Raskas, which is very lucky.
Yeah, Robsu will need to make some moves. And have you got any advice for anybody trying to make an overtake around here, Ghost?
Don't, unless the other car is out of ERS up the hill, out of turn 1, or if you've got a really good run and they make a mistake. Otherwise, you're not getting past. The only other place is a dive bomb into Mirabeau, but even that's, you're pushing your luck, because you need to rely on the other car giving you space, and they don't have to. So it's, you know, it's all about trust, and it's all about finding new opportunities, but if you're just left to your own devices and the other car ahead makes no mistakes, there's not really much you can do.
No, not at all. And well, we find ourselves 5 cars down. There's 7 cars left in this race at the moment. We are lap 24 out of 39. There are 4 people watching. Everybody's like so far, but the others that were watching earlier on seem to have cleared off at the moment. So they've got out of liking the stream for now, but you know, if you're maybe watching along after the fact, then put a like on the stream. Why not? If you've not seen us before, then do subscribe to the channel as well. We are here pretty much every week, more or less, when we're not in an off season for Tier 2. So there's plenty more racing to come as well. So do jump on board. And then there's obviously there's Tier 1. There's the Elite Championship as well. There's plenty of racing action here at APPF1, and well, there's plenty of racing action from me as well. If you head over to the JP Broadcasting channel, you might find me on there every now and again, and well, even more racing. If you like Formula 1, there's some Formula 1, there's Formula 3, there's GT3, there's NASCAR, there's all sorts over there. So if you're a big motorsports fan like myself, then do head over and check that out as well. But we're currently here at Monaco. We've had a huge reshuffle of the grid, Ghost, and well, you know, I think I've already decided our driver of the day, but that's if, of course, he can make it to the end.
Yes, me too. He's that soft to hard strategy has worked out a treat for him. Like I said, it only works if you make no mistakes and you're fast enough to take advantage, and he's done both so far. So don't want to curse him, but you know, 14 laps to go. But JB still sitting behind LB. Womax has caught up though, and he's right behind this Williams, and the Bulgarian has full ERS, and he can see the flashing light of the Williams. So if he gets a good run up the hill or down towards Mirabeau, then Womax could be sending it down the inside. So do keep on track with him. And Robsu is catching as well very quickly. He's going to be on the back of this train soon, and LB, as it stands, will drop to 5th place with that penalty.
Yeah, JB, the Williams 1-2, and JB under threat at the moment. Womax is closing in, Robsu is closing in as well, but all JB has got to do is make that car as wide as possible and keep Womax at bay. But with no battery in the tank for the Williams, and a full battery for Womack's, that is going to be easier said than done.
Certainly is, and JB is also thinking about keeping on track with LB as well for the Williams 1-2, and he's dropped off a bit the last 1.5 laps or so, but as we've seen before in Monaco, Womack's nearly into the back of it. Wow.
I think JB got a poor run out of the second part of that swimming pool section, and Womack's really couldn't do anything about it, and lucky not to get any damage or damage to Williams at the moment, and it's getting close through Saint-Devote now. Can the Womack's get a better run at the moment? He's opened up the ERS. This could be a run in towards Massenet as they go up the hill at the moment, but he's not close enough to make any significant moves. Can he make a dive bomb into Mirabeau as he goes? He goes wide at the moment, looks for the way around the outside, looks to the inside, but backs out sensibly.
Yeah, I really hope Womack's doesn't just send it here. It can be tempting, but we will see. Robsu's there as well, waiting for something to happen, so he'll snap up an opportunity if there is a big crash or something like that. Womack's now pressing the ERS through the tunnel. He's going to go for it into the Nouvelle chicane. He's down the inside. He's gone for it. There's contact. And that was always going to happen. JB's kept on the road, and Robsu's up to P4, but Womack's will have damage from that. He took an opportunity. He went for the move, and it's not paid off. And I mean, it can happen. That's exactly what can happen, but there's not exactly much JB could do about it, that's for sure. But JB will nonetheless, I think, at least be happy to now only have one car behind him now.
Yes, he will, but that car is Robsu, and it's the same situation more or less, except Robsu's got the quicker tyre. So if he's going to make a move, he's going to have more chances to do it. And we've got 12 laps left to go, so JB is going to be sweating in that cockpit. It's a lot of pressure on the shoulders of the Williams driver. He's got to keep it clean, got to stay with LB, got to keep Robsu behind, and it could all go Williams 1-2. Meanwhile, Kroos has opened up his gap. It's 6.7 seconds, and it's looking like it's all aboard the LB train at the moment as we watch this fight for P2.
Certainly is. Obviously, that crash helps out LB as well, because he'll only drop to P4 with the penalty now. But yeah, I think it is the same situation, but I think Robsu's got, no disrespect to Womack's, but I think Robsu's got a better racing head on his shoulders in terms of his racecraft. So we won't see Robsu sending one into Nouvelle, I don't think. So he's going to wait for a JB mistake or for something to happen between the two cars ahead of him. Yeah, if nothing happens, he's going to find it really difficult to make any sort of move as JB a mistake into Anthony Nogues. But again, this is the thing, Robsu had to slow down to avoid him. He's using the ERS, but JB has the DRS. There's nothing Robsu can do, but can he do something up the hill? There's a poor exit for JB. Here he goes, side by side up the hill. He's made the move. What a brilliant overtake from Robsu, up to P3. Well deserved. JB's trying to come back at him through Casino, but there's nothing you can do on the hard tyres. Robsu into P3, and it's going to be P2 after LB's penalty.
That was a phenomenally brave overtake, and probably one of the only ones we've seen under racing conditions there. All the others have been mostly in the pit lane, and well, Robsu really did send it. He got the better run, he recognised the gap, and he went for it. He pressed that ERS button up through Beau Rivage, and well, he got the job done, and well, he doesn't have to overtake LB, but he's a racing driver. There's no way he's backing off. If he can see a gap, he's going to go for it.
He'll also be thinking of Kroos SUMO, because if he can get past LB, he's got 10 laps. Well, at the moment he's got 10 laps to gain 5 seconds. And with Kroos's deteriorating hard tyres, that is well, very, very far out of the question. So Robsu will be trying to make this move on LB, and he's using the ERS to try and do it into Saint-Devote. Here we go. He's trying to go around the outside or put LB on a worse line. He's going to do the same thing he did to JB. Down the inside he goes, but LB just shows him the wall, and Robsu has to live to fight another day.
God, this is a phenomenal little battle. If there's anybody if there's anybody who I can bet on defending a position is LB. How many times have we seen him this season defend a position and keep it to the end of the race? Too many to count, I think. LB is the master of defence out there at the moment. He's going to make that car as wide as possible. He doesn't want Rob Su to make the win. He wants to keep that Ferrari behind. He's thinking of the Constructors' Championship, if anything else, and he says he's not thinking about the drivers, but I don't believe him for a second at the moment. He knows that Darth and Lawrence have absolutely binned it today, and he knows he's going to be toward the front of the championship.
Absolutely. But Sumo, look who's now crept up within a 3-second range of LB. It's the McLaren of Lil Manny Man. He's just quietly caught up to this train, and he's now, well, if something goes wrong ahead of him, he could be on the podium in Monaco, which he would be absolutely delighted by, I'm sure. So we will see. It's far from over. Still 9 laps to go in this one. Crozer with a 9-second lead. Yeah,
and remember, Robsu has got that, well, he's got a penalty possibly looming as well. If he makes one little mistake out there, one foray over the white line, then that will get him a 3-second time penalty, and then you'll have LB and Robsu racing for position as Womack sets the fastest lap, and JB and Little Manny Man scrapping to get themselves on the podium, which they should do. That was very close.
Yeah, a bit of contact there. Robsu just tapping the back of LB like we saw with Hulkenberg and Sargent on Sunday through the Lowe's hairpin, but through the tunnel they go, and Robsu's pressing the ERS button. Is he going to go for it here? That would be very, very brave if he did. He sensibly backs out of it, but you feel like he's not going to let this go. He's definitely going to go for this. Tia and Womack's having a battle for fastest lap further down the road in the meantime.
Yeah, well, if there's any time for Krauser to... Whoa, that was close coming down to Raskas. Robson really trying to put some pressure on LB. He knows how to try and attack this driver. He has got... a great staunch attack at the moment, met by a staunch defence. Is this what happens when an immovable object meets an unstoppable force? Who knows? These two battling away as they go up through Beau Rivage for the 32nd time this evening at the moment. LB keeping the Ferrari at bay for the time being. He's going to lose it on penalties at the end of the race, but is he going to be able to keep it on track on the tarmac at the moment? Oh, who knows at the minute, but it's all aboard this LB train coming through Mirabeau.
Well, LB's priority is going to be to make Robsu's life as difficult as possible, perhaps give JB an opportunity to get past as well, or even Lil Manny Man, or maybe force Robsu into a third track limits warning, because I don't know if Lawrence is feeding him information in the party chat, because I know they do have a party chat, but yeah, as they go over the Nouvelle chicane, LB very slow, and Robsu nearly into the back of him again, but there's no chance for the Ferrari to get by. He needs to wait for a mistake for LB, and at the moment it's not happening, and LB's got 81% ERS, so we're not going to see Robsu just go for it with ERS like he did to JB, because LB is absolutely comfortable on that front.
A few different lines through Raskas there as the four of them made their way through. Little Manny Man, he's crashed!
Oh no! Oh, that's such a shame for the McLaren. That's so undeserved. He was driving so well. Could have found himself on the podium with a bit of luck, but back down to 5th place, and I think that is where he'll stay, and he may have rear wing damage. He's got more than that. He's into the wall and out of the race. Oh, that's such a shame. That's so undeserved.
He gave it a bit too much into Saint-Devot. He should have limped back to the pit lane. I know it was a long, long way, but a bit of frustration perhaps with himself for crashing at the final corner. It's not what he wanted to do. He was in a perfect little space. We go from a 4-car train up down to a 3, and well, Little Manny Man, we do feel for you here in the comms box. You were driving so well.
Absolutely, but that's Monaco, unforgiving for the slightest error. And yeah, I think just if he'd limped back to the pits, he still would have had a comfortable finish, but he was just annoyed at himself. But I'll tell you who will be happy with that, JB, because it's relieved the pressure from the back of him, and now he can focus his whole energy on capitalizing on a mistake from the 2 cars in front.
Yes, he certainly can, and there's still plenty of time for that mistake to come. Krauser is stretching his legs, 13.4, and I don't think, even if Robsu got past now, that Krauser could really break 10 seconds in such little amount of laps. But if Krauser did make a mistake, of course, then that could change. He's in 25 lap-old hard tyres. They're a long way to take him, but he won't enter any puncture territory, but they surely won't be feeling the greatest.
No, they certainly won't. They'll be on around 64% by the end, I reckon, based on what I've done in the past. So, obviously his tyre wear is going to be different to mine, but he shouldn't get into the 70s, I don't think, in terms of wear. So he'll be fine. But yeah, it's just got to keep his head, keep his cool. It's an endurance race, Monaco, more than anything, and at the moment, he's got that lead, no mistakes.
No, not at all, and somebody who won't want to be making any mistakes. So there's Robsu at the moment. He's got to keep JB in mind at the moment, and well, JB does look a little bit more put together through that swimming pool section and the rest of sectors 2 and 3, more or less. And well, if he can do that, if he can put some pressure on Robsu, and Robsu makes that little list of mistakes, or if perhaps Robsu takes a poor line through one of the corners of Saint-Devant or the Nouvelle Chicane or anywhere in the swimming pool, then Robsu will find himself with that 3-second penalty that he's not going to want, and then the Williams 1-2 is back. But for the time being, it may be a 1-3, but it's not a result to scoff at at all. That was incredibly close to the back of that Red Bull.
It certainly was. Yeah, I mean, it's never over in Monaco until everyone has crossed the line. I've seen people bin it at the last corner before now. Rumax with another fastest lap. The battle for that purple lap continues between those two.
Here he comes. He's put into the outside of the Nouvelle Chicane. Surely not. Is this going to happen? At the moment, they make contact between the two of them. It's relatively clean. There's more contact as they come out. But Robsu finds himself ahead, but he's got that 3-second time penalty.
He got the penalty for going over. He will definitely appeal that in the stewards, Sumo. I don't know whether it'll be accepted, but he definitely will. There's more contact. Oh. He's been given a 5-second penalty for corner cutting, which he will absolutely appeal. But yeah, Robsu up to P2 now. 3 laps to go at the end of this one. But LB is going to push to try and get past. He's not going to let this go, is the Red Bull. Robsu's still there. Still ahead, but LB coming with the ERS. He's going to try and make a move. He's not going to give this up without a fight, but JB's there to make this a 1-2 for Williams as it stands.
Yeah, he is, and I'm not sure how well that appeal's going to go, but that's up to the stewards later on after the race. But it's Robsu now, P2, then there's LB and JB, but JB is there to pick up the pieces after Robsu launched that attack, and I don't know how worth it was. I feel like he should have just stayed behind LB.
Yeah, completely, 100% agree. He was never going to catch Krauser in the time that there is left. So, yeah, I mean, he's a racing driver, like you say, Sumo. If he sees an opportunity, he's going to go for it. But I think just needed to think a little bit more about the complexion of the race before making that move there, and probably should have backed off in the tunnel. Well, I mean, 2 laps to go at the end of this one. And at the moment, it's looking like JB is going to get himself on P2.
Yeah, and I think, you know, if things finish as they are now, Robsu is going to find himself off the podium anyway. But yeah, I'm sure he'll get that at least that 5 seconds removed, because that's a little bit over it. But no, it's a tough one.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, if nothing else, he's going to miss out on the most important thing of all, and that's the podium interview. And even if he gets it removed, I mean, God, what a loss! What an absolute loss that is. As LB lags a bit through lows, nearly taps the back of Robsu, and those mediums are going to start going off now. Sumo, it's 15 laps on them, and he's going to start struggling in that Ferrari on those medium tyres. LB is certainly not going to take any prisoners. He's not going to sit behind Robsu if he thinks the Ferrari's too slow. And JB, well, he's certainly just going to sit behind them. He's not going to make any sort of moves. He's very happy where he is as Robsu, big mistake there, coming into swimming pool, but he's survived for now. LB just sitting behind still, but it's all coming together here in the last few laps, and he's tapped Raskas at the barrier on the inside, but he's gotten away with it just about. LB's right here, but he's just not got enough pace to get the move done into Santa Vot. And wow, this is really close now.
Is he going to try and do what Robsu did to JB a few laps ago? He's not had the run on the Ferrari that he would have liked for that, so he's just going to have to follow through Massenet and then into Casino at the moment, but it's not over yet. Do not count those chickens, Rick, in the chat. As he's crying. Womack is out now, but he'll be classified, so Tier's going to move up to P5, so he'll be happy with that in his Mercedes at the moment. But it's still Robsu and LB and JB all jostling away through it. We've had this for the last, I want to say, 15 laps or so. These three have been incredibly close.
They really have. It's been a great Monaco Grand Prix, I've got to say. Really exciting to watch. Almost the entire race through. Tier into the pits for fresh softs. He wants that fastest lap. It's a bit of a mistake from Robsu again through Nouvelle, but LB again, no opportunity to make a move as Crozer starts the final lap of the Grand Prix. So Tier's not going to have an opportunity to set the fastest lap despite coming in. But here they go. These main three of the race, just trundling around the final corner to start their final lap. And JB is going to hope that he just keeps it clean for this last tour of the Monte Carlo circuit.
Yes, he does. Rick says, I'll dislike you if you don't apologise, Rick. And, well, I can't see the dislikes, so go ahead. but no, you were just there, Rick. You're an easy target for the time being. We should have been bullying Lifebout, really. But you know what? There was so much going on that we didn't get the chance to bully Lifebout. So thank Tier 2 at Lifebout for us going easy on you. But
oh, contact! Was that JB hitting LB?
I don't know. I think one of them hit the other. I think LB went really awkwardly over the curb there. It was hard to tell what actually happened, but I don't think it's going to change much, but I'm going to switch views because this man, he peered into his crystal ball this evening and he thought, let's start on the soft tyres, and it's worked out tremendously. He's found himself on the top step and he's come to win Monaco, the most prestigious Grand Prix of them all, and it's Crozer who crosses the line first for Williams, and it's Robsu who's going to come home in P2 on track, but I don't think it's going to be all that much after the penalties at the moment. It's the Ferrari making his way around the final corner to come home P2. LB will come home P3 on the road, but JB, through thick and thin, is going to make it a Williams 1-2. It's redemption day for the British team.
Oh, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. What a race around Monaco. I mean, you have over half the grid crashing out, but it doesn't matter. This is such a fun race to watch. And Tier rounds his final tour of the track as well, as he, attempts to set fastest lap. I thought he was not on the lead lap, but he still is, so he could get fastest lap here. Who currently has it?
I think Womax.
Let's see. Yeah, Womax has it, but Tier's made a mistake, so he's not going to get it. So Womax will hold on to that fastest lap. But Tier, I mean, he's going to be delighted to finish the race, I think, Sumo, as he runs out of fuel at the end.
Oh, there he goes. Runs out of fuel as well, for good measure, but at least he finished. We'll have to look at the pit stops because Sock said he was going to set a record, but we'll see if he did or not.
Well, he crashed before he had the opportunity.
Yes, he did, but that's Tier across the line. Doesn't get fastest lap. That'll go to Womax. But wow, we've had an absolutely tremendous Monaco Grand Prix. I think much better than the real life one. And wow, Krauser, the driver of the day from the game. He's our driver of the day as well. There's no question about it. I'm not going to debate it. If you say that Krauser's not the driver of the day, then get out. Honestly.
Yeah, there's something wrong with you.
There's something wrong. Go away. It's like saying you're not a Checo fan, really. Everyone's a Checo fan. Who doesn't love Checo Perez? But anyway, there he is. Well-deserved on the top step. It should have happened in Monza, but it's happened here in Monte Carlo, and it's going to feel so much better. Let's move over to the chat to interview some very elated drivers. Again, sorry to blue screen everybody, it happens every time, but you should know the process by now. 7 if you're watching, if you've not liked the stream already. There's I can't do maths. The 2 people who haven't. Get on it. Do it. We've had a great race. Like the stream. Support goes a very long way and I do really appreciate it. But let's get on with some interviews at the moment. Before that, let's run you through the grid. It's Krauser on the top step from P9 on the grid to P1. An incredible performance from the British driver. And then it's JB lying alongside him and flanking Krauser is LB as well, rounding off your podium. Then there's Robsu and Tier making up the top 5, and those are all the drivers that finished. Then Womax is classified. He comes home P6 with the fastest lap as well. Not a bad performance from the reserve driver. Then Little Manny Man, Sox, Bergen, Maniac Mango, Lawrence, and Darth Hillis all fell prey to the walls at Monaco. But it's Krauser on the top step, and we're going to have some interviews in a few moments' time. Is everybody in? Am I even in the party chat? Apparently I am. I don't know if I've joined the wrong one though. I feel like I have. I have joined the wrong one. That's embarrassing. I joined the wrong chat. There we go. I'm now in the right one. And my game's crashed. That's phenomenal timing. The